The internet, where it makes experts out of us all, doesn't it? All right, let's walk through this, and I'm so glad that you shared this because, guys, this is the kind of panic mentality that we need to absolutely stop from continuing. All right, it's bad enough. I mean, I am so upset at the media for starting this nonsense, okay, with reporting everybody clearing out the shelves of toilet paper and hand sanitizer. It started with that and it's just snowballed from there. What's that done? Well, it's created situations to where people that are homebound, disabled, elderly, poor, that don't have the ability to go out and hoard hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of food, guys, they're the ones getting hurt by all this. So what I don't need or what we don't need as a collective is we don't need that kind of fear mongering out there. And we don't need it when it comes to special education and the unknowns of school closure potentially through the end of the school year. All right. We just don't need it. Okay. This took everybody by surprise, including the school systems, and to sit there and go, it's been a week. What are you going to do? It's going to take a little bit longer to figure this stuff out. Okay. Governments are big, lumbering dragons. Okay. I don't know where people think that they're nice. Governments are not nice people. They don't save everybody. That we save people. Nonprofits save people. Religions save people. Governments are good at killing and collecting taxes. Very good at those two things. But you sit there and you check their record on everything else, fraught with waste, horrible at customer service. So, yes, people work for these organizations, and I'm not sitting there bad mouthing the people that work for them, but I'm just saying that you got to shake yourself into some reality here and go, do I enjoy standing in line at the DMV? No, that's a government. So this is where sitting at home waiting for Amazon to bring you crap. Okay, there's a difference. Please understand. Governments do not change on a dime. They're trying to figure this out. So, because IDEA is housed inside of the public schools, the government, then it's going to take a little bit of time to sit there and iron this out and how we're going to approach this in the near future. I am keeping my eyes on it. I am letting all of you know minute to minute, hour by hour, any changes you need to be aware of. Yesterday, I posted about the concerns that I have with the legislation that's currently being proposed as far as the COVID-19 emergency package. Well, it has a provision in there providing the education secretary 30 days to provide an update to the various congressional and Senate committees on what limited waivers that is deemed necessary on IDEA and 504 compliance. Now, I don't know what limited waivers are. Now, is it a reduction in funds? I mean, is that an excusal of some timelines? I mean, how far does it go? Because in my viewpoint, you can't sit there and mess with things like a free and appropriate public education. That's a completely different standard and not necessarily tied to procedure, okay? But yet a lot of these procedural errors can cause substantive violations. So let's break this down. Districts are currently working on a plan to how to provide instruction and services to our children. Do not, that's scary, isn't it? Scary sounding words. In all caps. Sorry, I lost it for a second. I'm getting back to it. Gotta be kidding me. Oh, here we go. Do not agree to have any IEP meetings over a conference call at this time. Your child's education is important and deserves the full attention of all participants. Let's break that down, guys. Okay. Do not agree to have any IEP meetings over a conference call at this time. Wrong. Guys, the IDEA already allows that to occur. So to sit there and go, I'm not meeting with you over the phone, tough, because all they have to do is invite you multiple times and have you refuse, and then they can go ahead and have the meeting without you. Whether it's over the phone, whether it's smoke signals, whether they tie two cans with a string and throw one over your backyard to sit there, it doesn't matter. To sit there and go, do not have a meeting. That's not how the rules work. Do not be a jerk during this time. I don't recommend it. Absolutely don't recommend it, guys. Be flexible, be patient, be understanding. The IDEA, because this is the kind of nonsense that then creates this justification to push legislation down our throats to get schools off the hook. The IDEA already has these mechanisms to help us during this time because so much of it is already allowed. The flexibility is already there to provide the IEP team to sit there and make decisions using video conference calls. Other aspects of the education system are not set up that way. So there was some forward thinking in when this was developed to take these kind of alternatives into consideration. These alternatives are working for us now. But if you're agreeable, if you're patient, if you allow for an extension of your current IEP, and I'm going to get into that part in just a second, then you see where you're partnering with the school, you're collaborating and being a solution, and you're not clouding the process by being one of those parents that just are panicked, freaked out, or being an absolute a-hole when it's absolutely unnecessary and it's damaging and you are contributing to this problem. And I don't mind saying that. FAPE is FAPE is FAPE is FAPE, but I can tell you, you're providing school systems the firepower they need to make it really bad for the rest of us. But at the same time, I will tell you, you're not stopping a thing, because a school system, as long as they can document at least 2 attempts to convince you, because that's what the law says, to convince you to participate. Now, convincing you would denote that you're refusing to participate. And so if you take this person's advice and do not do this, it's not going to take much for them to try to convince you. Just 2 documented attempts, and they can go ahead and do this without you. They don't need you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it once they reach that threshold. And it's been documented that they tried to work with you. So this is why you shouldn't listen to people that think they know, but they don't know. Sort of correct, but really not correct. Guys, I don't go out there giving people tax advice right now. Do you understand that? I stay in my lane, and I don't know who this person is, nor do I care, quite frankly. She may be in this group, and if you are, then please understand, stop doing this. You're wrong. All right, let's go to the rest of it. Your child's education is important. Well, that's a no, let's go ahead and chalk that up under no crap. More capitalization. Do not, IEPs do not expire. Your child services will not change because you did not meet by a certain date. If you have any questions, you can always email me. We are in this together. We are in this together. But we includes the public school. We include these people that are stuck at home, just like you, not knowing what they need to do right now, trying to figure it out remotely and away from, your child's education record and your child's file. We include them as well. And so that's a toxic attitude. It's the same one that I can't stand seeing and hearing from public schools either. Okay? We include them. They include us. And we are in this together. But IEPs do not expire. They actually do. There's called implementation dates. You can see them. on your IEP very clearly. They're there. They're called implementation dates. It starts on this date. It stops on this date. They're good for 1 calendar year. That's in the law. Now, at the same time, you put expire in quotations. Now, does that mean that if the IEP runs past the implementation date that the world ends and that your child just doesn't receive services anymore? No, that's nonsensical. Your child should continue to be provided services per whatever this past IEP said. So in that regard, the quotations of expire would be correct. They would still be responsible because your child was still eligible. They're just out of compliance. They're supposed to have a new IEP each calendar year. But the law also says and gives the IEP team the ability to amend, to extend the current IEP temporarily. So you can have an IEP extended for a couple months past that year mark to help the school stay in compliance. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to try to be a helpmate during this time? You know, yes, your child's IEP is important, but please be understanding and patient as we're trying to work through this. Okay? Don't fall into this nonsense. And you're right, the services will continue. You know, but if they're wanting to develop a new IEP, you can amend it if you don't like it once everything settles out. We're just trying to get over this hurdle, people. That's all we're trying to do. It's not going to impact whether they have a duty to provide your child a FAPE. Okay, that's still there. They still have that requirement. But all this procedural stuff, don't get yourself worked up over it, and don't put more work on our teachers and on our administrators right now when they don't need it. Guys, don't listen to the panic in these various support groups and parent groups. Don't do it. Please, for the love of God, don't fall into that trap. Thank you for sharing this with me so I could and share more. I can sit there and dispel this stuff. You know, this is within my wheelhouse. Okay, this is what I do. And please share that with other groups, with other families. And in fact, every one of you that are members of this group have the capability to add whoever you would like to this group. And I encourage you all to do that. You know, the more the merrier. Educators, administrators, and parents. We're here to solve a problem together. Okay?